But not only does it produce these talented fighters and these world champions, it's a bit of an archetype of a fighting style. We talk about the Philly style, or even the Philly gym wars. It's bigger than just the city. It's transcended just the place where the guys are from.
Fight fans, welcome to Boxing Scene's Top Stories, only on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. I am George DeMatteis. Download the app to experience everything, the full experience here on ProBox TV, your boxing channel. It is time to talk to the champions. We got Chris Algieri and we got Paulie Malignaggi joining us here on Top Stories. Well, there seems to be a resurgence in the Philadelphia fight scene, the same fight scene that developed all-time greats like Joe Frazier and Bernard Hopkins, amongst others, that had for a while seemed to be neglected throughout the modern era. But things are changing with the likes of Jerome Boots Ennis, Stephen Fulton, Danny Garcia, and even Cuba's Andy Cruz is moving there to train. And even Matchroom signing Ennis and vowing to promote him in his own city has strengthened the belief that the further with a fight, another fight should be staged in the city of brotherly love. All right, Paulie, what do you make of this resurgence in boxing from the city of Philadelphia?
You know what? I don't know if it's much of a resurgence. It's people are just paying attention. I don't know that Philly ever had, a time when it wasn't producing, great fighters. I feel like maybe something like New York has sort of diminished its level because I feel like it's gotten so expensive that fighters aren't staying in New York, so you're not able to develop in New York. Even to box in New York, joining a boxing gym, the disappearance of the PALs, joining a boxing gym is expensive. The disappearance of the PALs hurts New York's ability to create talent. But I don't think Philadelphia has had that. I mean, I think Danny is sort of an older regime generation. He's still going strong. Then Jerron Ennis and Stephen Fulton are young. They're Philly born and bred. Andy Cruz is not Philly born and bred, but he's moving to Philly because the scene is so good that the gyms, are probably getting good sparring and solid work. You want to go there. While a place like New York, for example, guys are running away. Guys are moving. Like somebody like Shushu is from Top Rank. He's going over to Vegas to get better his training ability and whatnot. Philly doesn't have this problem, honestly. Philly, I don't know that there is so much of a resurgence as it's just the consistency and people don't pay attention. I think sometimes Philly is lost in the shuffle because fights don't actually happen there. But the gym scene, the fight scene, the creation of talent there, as far as I'm concerned, seems to always have been consistent in my lifetime and before it. I don't think it ever has had the lull that, say, like New York is starting to have, and I don't foresee it happening in the near future because guys like Ennis and Fulton are young. Guys like Cruz, again, not Philadelphia born and bred, but goes there. I think that it's going to attract more people to want to go train there as well. I think the Philly fight scene is alive and well, and I dare not call it a resurgence. The Philly fight scene, the city of brotherly love, has always produced great talent, and I don't think it has ever gone away.
Yeah, Champ, I have to agree. I think you hit it right on the head. I don't think that it's so much that the Philly fight scene has diminished. It's just that there's not fights there. They don't hold fights there. The city is not great for that. The Blue Horizon closed up a number of years ago, and that was a staple. It was globally known. It was one of the best, most intimate fight venues you could ever have. You had Friday night fights that would do shows in there that were rocking. So I think once that left, once Friday night fights left, so you didn't get to see so many fights actually coming from the city. But in terms of the talent that's come out of there, in terms of the coaching that's there, you got a guy like Nazim Richardson who's been fantastic, producing guys over and over again over the years, Bernard Hopkins, and you mentioned Stephen Fulton, Danny Garcia. But not only does it produce these talented fighters and these world champions, it's a bit of an archetype of a fighting style. We talk about the Philly style, or even the Philly gym wars. It's bigger than just the city. It's transcended just the place where the guys are from. It's got its own style. It's got its own training techniques. It's got its own in-the-ring techniques. So it's massive, man, if you really think about it.
Cam, you make a good point because you just reminded me of something, as you typically do when you make some good points like this. Another low-key thing about Philly, the opponents are tougher too. I mean, they got because of the gym wars. Even the guys you don't know that are opponents, they upset prospects. I believe one of the top prospects in boxing right now, beat Melnicki. His only loss was to I believe it was a Philly fighter who, a Philly journeyman who ended up upsetting him on one of those cards. So Melnicki's only lost to a Philly guy. It's low key. That's one of the low key things you don't realize about a city like that. There's just guys who can fight even when you don't know who they are.
There's two places where when you're coming up, if you're fighting an opponent from, you make mental note. One's Mexico. It could be anywhere in Mexico, but Mexican journeymen are tough as nails, and Philly guys. And the Philly guys, not so much about they're going to be tough. They're going to be skilled, too. Really skilled, really tricky. I remember I fought in my 11th pro fight. My 10th pro fight. I fought a guy from Philly. And his record wasn't great, but man, was he slick and tricky, switching sides. Savvy. Very, very savvy. Very, very, very wise in the ring. But yeah, absolutely. So it's not just, the fact that we have fights there, but like everyone in boxing knows what Philly means and what those kind of fighters are. It's great that we have a star now. We got a guy like Jaron Ennis who's coming back. Danny's in the twilight of his career very much so. He's been very inactive as of late. Yes, he's got a big fight coming up, but he's not going to carry the mantle the way that a Jaron Ennis can. And now that we're actually getting attention, Matchroom has a great marketing machine. They put a lot of time and effort into long-form video production of their fighters. So I think we're seeing that with Jaron. I think we're going to get more fights like that, which is going to bring more eyes to it. Hey, Champ, you know who we forgot to mention? Rocky Balboa, baby. You can't not talk about Rocky, right?
He fought him in Philly in the Spectrum against Apollo.
There you go,
I got to give one more shot while we're on the Philly. One of my favorite fighters ever, Meldrick Taylor, was also from Philly. One of my favorite fighters. I used to love watching Meldrick Taylor.
I think we're going to have to rename the city of boxing love, because so many great fighters. And as you guys mentioned, the way they train and fight in Philly is just so unique and so valuable to the sport of boxing. Great stuff from our champions, Chris Algieri and Pauline Malignaggi. And we're always going to keep it going here on Top Stories. And don't forget to scan the QR code, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the best live fight series in all of boxing, Wednesday night fights. The next one coming up September 11th. Then 3 days after that, you definitely don't want to miss that main event between Canelo Alvarez and Edgar Berlanga on pay-per-view. I'm George DeMatteis, and that does it for Boxing Scene's Top Stories.
He's the pride of Guadalajara, the Mexican maestro, the unified super middleweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez. His challenger, undefeated knockout artist and pride of Puerto Rico, Edgar Berlanga. It's prime time.
Canelo versus Berlanga, plus Lara versus Garcia, Saturday, September 14th, live on PBC pay-per-view on Prime Video.
For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.